The LA Chargers just got hit with a wave of good news. And fans, you're going to love this. Before we jump into the latest updates, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any breaking Chargers news. Alright, let's move on to the fresh updates. First off, Del'Shawn Phillips is back. The linebacker passed his physical and officially returned to practice this week. Now, if you don't know much about him, here's the quick rundown. He's been in the league since 2019, bouncing around teams like the Bills and Jets. But here's the thing, everywhere he goes, he brings one key strength: special teams dominance. Every NFL roster needs those hidden gems, the guys who fly down the field on punts, who make the big blocks on kick returns, who turn small plays into game changers. And Phillips is exactly that type of player. He adds depth at linebacker, yes, but more importantly, he's the kind of reliable, tough special teamer every winning team needs. The coaches aren't worried about him missing time in the offseason either. His track record speaks for itself, and from what we're hearing, he's already locked in and ready to roll. He's back on the field, past his physical, and with 3 weeks still left before the season, the timing couldn't be better. And speaking of things to look forward to, Friday night, Chargers versus Chiefs. That matchup already feels electric. Now, here's something you don't want to overlook. Joe Horta's very first draft move as Chargers GM still stands out. Normally, he's the type to stay put, trust the board, and let the picks come to him. But this time, he did something different. He moved up a couple of spots. And with that move, he landed Ladd McConkey. At first glance, people were asking, really? This guy? But then you watch him play, and it all makes sense. He's quick, he's sharp, he's tough, and he just knows how to get open. The more you see him, the more you realize, this pick wasn't a gamble, it was a statement. What makes it even better is looking at who he was drafted over. While other receivers struggled to even find the field, McConkey was making noise right away, hauling in 82 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 7 touchdowns as a rookie. That's not just solid, that's a star in the making. Here's the thing about the NFL. One good draft pick can completely change the direction of a franchise, while one bad one can hold you back for years. And when you look around the league, the difference couldn't be clearer. Take some of the wide receivers drafted around the same time as Ladd McConkey. Adonai Mitchell couldn't get much going. He was fighting for opportunities, but with a young quarterback like Anthony Richardson still finding his rhythm, the chemistry just wasn't there. Then there's Jalen Polk. He barely saw the field in New England, a team that was already in total chaos last year. 12 catches, 87 yards as a rookie. And that's it. Meanwhile, McConkey is out here stealing the spotlight. Think about it. An 86-yard touchdown in the postseason. Plays like that don't just put points on the board, they make a statement. By the end of his first year, McConkey had almost matched the entire production of guys who were drafted before him. That's the difference between being a maybe someday player and being someone who changes games right now. And this is what the NFL is really about. Building a winning team doesn't come from expensive free agents or flashy moves. It comes from hitting on your draft picks. Miss too many, and you're stuck in mediocrity. Hit just a few in a row, and suddenly, you've got the foundation for a contender. We've seen it happen before. The Lions rebuilt their future by stacking good picks. Guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson. Every one of those names represents a building block. That's the blueprint. Draft well, develop talent, and watch the team transform. The Chargers, with McConkey and a few more smart moves, could be walking that same path. Here's another layer of good news for Chargers fans, and honestly, it's one that doesn't get talked about enough. When you look around the NFL, most teams are desperate just to find one reliable quarterback. Out of 32 teams, maybe 20 have a guy you can actually trust to win games. After that, you've got about 10 teams sitting in the, I don't know category, uncertain starters, shaky situations, or young QBs who may or may not pan out. And then there are a few teams where, let's be real, it's just not going to work this year. Now, compare that to the Chargers. Not only do they have their franchise star in Justin Herbert, but they're sitting on something rare in today's NFL, quarterback depth. While other franchises scramble to find just one answer, the Chargers actually have 3 passers on the roster. That opens the door for a move most teams would dream of, a potential trade. And the name that jumps out? Joe Milton. For those who don't know his backstory, Milton's journey has been fascinating. He first landed at Michigan, and honestly, it didn't go well. The potential was there, the size, the arm strength, the athleticism, but the results just weren't lining up. So he made a move, transferred to Tennessee, and suddenly things started to click. Behind Hendon Hooker, Milton started flashing that raw ability that made scouts stop and stare. Now, with the Chargers, he's the definition of a developmental quarterback. He's not your starter today, but when you've already got Herbert and depth behind him, Milton becomes more than just a backup, he's an asset. That's why some are calling a trade with a QB-needy team like the Cowboys a no-brainer. The Chargers have what so many teams lack: options. And in the NFL, options are power. When you look at this Chargers roster, one thing stands out. They actually have the right pieces in place. At quarterback, they're loaded. At wide receiver, they've got fresh weapons who can make plays. And yes, the offensive line is going through a bit of a transition, but that's nothing to panic about. There's still time before the season, and with the talent around Justin Herbert, the line is only going to settle in and improve. That's the beauty of football. Everything works together. A strong group of receivers means Herbert can get the ball out faster. That quick passing attack keeps defenses honest. And when defenses start backing off, defensive line gets breathing room. One thing complements the other, and suddenly, the offense starts clicking like a machine. On the other side of the ball, the defense looks solid. Nothing flashy, nothing chaotic, just steady, consistent football. And sometimes, that's exactly what you want. A defense that you can rely on week after week gives your offense the freedom to take chances and put points on the board. The big picture? The Chargers are in a good spot. With Herbert leading the way, new weapons stepping up, and both sides of the ball building balance, this team has every reason to believe they can make serious noise this season. If you're a true NFL fan and want to stay updated with daily news, trade rumors, and all the latest buzz around the league, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and in-depth coverage, so you never miss a single update about your favorite teams and players. And here's the most important part. Don't forget to press the bell icon. That way, you'll be the first to know whenever we drop a new video. Stay ahead of the game and be part of our growing community of passionate NFL fans. Let's talk football, NFL fans. Let's talk football.